Inspiring stories. I'm Wisdom Martin, here to offer you a behind-the-scenes peek into their lives, the lives of those who are shaping the world. Get ready for honest, inspiring conversations with some real-life game changers. She's a rising force in Hollywood, actress, director, entrepreneur, and now a voice for a new generation. From Netflix to BET and even Disney, Christina Cooper is making waves on and off the screen. Now she's opening up about her journey, her purpose, and the power of believing in yourself. Take a look. Let's talk about a couple of your current projects.
Yes.
The one that's on BET currently,
Yes.
The Babies, where you're starring with Lance Gross.
Yes.
And the teaser, I heard you say, or heard somebody say,
Yeah.
young women dating old dudes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of twists and turns in there. So tell me about your latest project.
Yeah. So this new movie, Sugar Baby, it follows a character that I play named Jade. She goes through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations. She gets kicked out of her house. Her boyfriend goes to jail. She ends up working at like a restaurant, meets this guy in the Sugar Baby world. I guess like you would call him your daddy, which is played by Lance. And she ends up like falling in love with him. So it's a lot of juicy stuff in there. So you got to watch it to kind of get the whole scoop. But it's a nice love story. And I also feel like I think it's branded as a love story, but I also feel like it could also be a good like coming of age story, especially in this generation of like young women kind of finding themselves and finding their strength and just what makes them happy. So
Right. Is that what attracted you to it, to do this particular role?
yes. I feel like there's a lot of similarities too that I have with the character Jade, just like personality wise. Like I feel like throughout the movie she kind of like finds her voice and learns how to like speak up for like herself and what she wants in life and just starts to put herself first and choose herself instead of like trying to make everybody else happy. So
Right. You're also working on another project behind the animation. Tell me a little bit about that, because that has to do with animation is huge. It's been huge for a long
yes.
time now. So tell me about that project.
Yeah, so that one is with Disney and we're still kind of like in the early stages of stuff, but we've been filming some different things with like different animators that are either currently working with Disney on Disney projects or have worked. Um, we've done interviews with a few different ones. There's one that I can speak on is Jeff Ranjo. He's an amazing animator. He did work on Tarzan,
Hmm.
um, Moana. I think the first Moana.
Right.
I think was it with Little Mermaid. He's done a lot of stuff, but we've been interviewing different ones that have done like the story artist and just everything about basically behind the animation. So it's kind of fun. I get to like go to Disney to the set and kind of like interview them and just really dive deeper behind like what animation is, the process, and all that stuff. So it's really fun. And this has opened the doors to doing more stuff with them. So soon I'll be able to disclose a little bit more. But yeah, I'm just super excited and super grateful.
All right. So you actually started your career, or one of your big breaks in your career was with Netflix. You were playing a character named Miko with the show
Yes.
Dear White People. What was that experience like for you as your big break, so to speak?
Yeah, that definitely was my first um role that kind of, got me. I think that was my first role that got me SAG actually in the union. So um that experience was I just my favorite word is just grateful. I feel like I was just extremely grateful just to be there. But it was interesting, like the audition process, because I think when I got there, I remember my agent at the time called me and was like, "Oh, it was like a last minute thing, and I had to actually catch the bus there." So I was kind of like, I was kind of like, should I even go? And it was just, I don't know, but I something in me just was like, okay, just go, give it your all. And I went, and um, it was it was kind of funny because it was like all the girls there, because I think they were auditioning for maybe like a different role or something, but they looked nothing like me. Like, so I was just kind of like, what am I was confused. But when I got there, one in my audition room, the casting director, she was amazing. And it was just really fast. And I was just kind of nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get it. And then I got the call that I got. And I was like, oh, like, That's great. So it was great. And then being on set too, it was a female director, so that inspired me actually a lot to get behind the camera because I also do a little directing and producing. So it was a great experience, very inspirational.
Right. And you talked about that experience because that is
Mhm.
what kind of led you into getting behind the camera and producing. You produced
Yes.
South Central Love, Bid for Love. These are our BET shows. So
Yeah.
what is it like going from, I mean, you were just kind of starting out at the time. So you go from
Yeah.
that to putting your own projects together. How did that transition work
Yeah.
out for you? Or was it something that was
Yeah.
already in you?
You know what? That's a great question. I feel like it was something that kind of happened over time, but I've always had like a passion for film, but I think I just didn't know where. And I feel like I'm still kind of figuring it out. I'm like doing, dipping and dabbling a little here and there throughout everything. But um I would have to say I feel like it had a heavy impact on like me starting, when to get behind the camera. But I remember sitting on the couch and watch because I grew up in LA. I'm sitting on the couch watching Baby Boy, and I saw um it was like written, directed, produced by John Singleton. Like, it was like he did everything like on his own, and um it just kind of inspired me to think like, okay, maybe I could do that. Even seeing like the Issa Rae stuff like that. It just kind of like inspired me to feel like I could just basically create my own platform to, tell the stories that I want to tell that I think should be told. And I think that it kind of all pieced in together.
Right.
But I grew up like going, my dad would take us, there was like this theater, movie theater out here. There was like $3 movie theaters I think every Sunday or every Thursday, one of the days. But my dad would always like take me and my sister. So that kind of, I always had that, got a little taste of, storytelling. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. So it was in you at an early age. What is it
Mhm.
about acting, producing that
Mhm.
makes you say, okay, this is my passion. This is where I want to put my energy for my career.
Yeah. I I feel like I'm still in the stages of my life where I'm kind of like figuring things out, finding
Hmm.
myself and just kind of finding my place in the world. But I feel like um one thing that I try to instill in myself is as long as everything that I'm doing, I'm fulfilling my purpose of like trying to help people or inspire people as much as I can. Which falls back into like I feel like filmmaking is it's like, well, I mean, it is storytelling, but just like with music and any type of like way you can like influence a community, I feel like with filmmaking, that's a great way to like, like inspire people or make a change in the world. So I feel like that's something that I really want to use with filmmaking and try to, help inspire the world. And I think I also like when I choose projects, or even if it's something that I've written myself, I try to make sure there's some type of message in there for, like a little girl like me or just women, not even just women, but just people around the world, especially in urban communities, because I, grew up in an urban community and just to showcase there's better out there in the world and that anything is possible. And, I just want to bring love and hope. So that's the goal.
All right. So you got the directing, the
Yes.
producing, the acting, and the
Mhm.
modeling as well. Is that part of your passion and your energy? I mean, you got time to do it, and you're doing some of everything.
Yeah, I'm doing I need to take a break. But no, I kind of don't really model as much as I used to. I think
Hmm.
the last thing I did was for a UGG campaign, which is like a shoe brand.
Right.
But yeah, I started off. I actually started off modeling before I started acting, which
Hmm.
I feel like helped me a lot with um getting used to being in front of the cameras or just like a lot of attention because I've always been a really shy, introverted person. So walking the runway, there's like 20 to 100 like photographers, and you kind of just like you get used to like being in that limelight because I'm even though it's in my industry to be in that, sometimes I'm kind of like more reserved. So it definitely helped me like kind
Right.
of, yeah, broaden my
Okay.
wings.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Christina Cooper, with all
Yes.
these things going on in your life, let's talk about you, the person. You grew up
Okay.
in LA and you called
Mhm.
yourself an island girl. Tell me a little bit about your background growing up in all that
Yes.
sunshine.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I grew up in LA. My dad is Jamaican and my mom is Chinese. My dad's family, like my grandma, was from Kingston, Jamaica, so they were raised out there. And I feel like that, I mean, I gravitate to both like my Chinese side and my Jamaican side, but I do have a brand called Island Gal, which I kind of like got from more of like my island side because I feel like I'm very just in tune with that, you know. And I kind of wanted to make something for, you know, women of color that have like curly hair that, you know, want to go like the natural route where there's like organic products. So I have like a lip gloss line that's like vegan and a hair care line that's vegan and it's called Island Gal. And I just want women to feel beautiful, empowered, and I feel like every day should feel like a vacation. So, you know, why not?
Every day should feel like a vacation. I like that. I
Right.
like that. So, what kind of, I mean, what do you do for fun when you're not working and doing all these different things? What do you do to relax or you have any hobbies, anything like that?
You know what? I probably need to pick up some more. But
You might not have time for any.
right, right. Hopefully soon. But let's see. What am I do like to go to the beach when I can. Nature. I like to be outside. I do. I love going to the movies, amusement parks. I don't know, I'm kind of boring. I'm like a homebody. I don't really do too much, but yeah, I don't know, I like to be around like my loved ones. Yeah, I don't really do too much. I used to swim, which is a fun fact. I mean, I sometimes go swimming for fun, but I used to swim. I actually almost went to the Junior Olympics too. Like I took it really
Whoa, whoa,
serious.
whoa, whoa. You almost went to the junior. You just slid that in there.
Yeah.
I got to hear this story. You almost went to the Junior Olympics as a swimmer.
Yeah, yeah, my dad had me swimming. I think I started swimming at like 2 and I took it really serious. Like I was in what was it called? Oh, I can't think of it. Not the I don't want to say anything that'll embarrass me. I don't know the name of the it's like when you compete
Hmm.
in different like states with
Right,
swimming,
right.
but it's
Okay.
not, I forgot the word for it. But yeah, so I did that in part of high school and middle school. And yeah, I was well, I don't know. My dad would say I was kind of fast, I guess, a little bit.
What
But
happened? You decided to give it up?
yeah, I'm trying to think what happened. I think I like started modeling and then I kind of just drifted that way. But yeah, I took it serious. Like I almost got a scholarship to USC for swimming. Um, I was like 14 competing against like I think 18-year-olds and I was like winning races. I was fast. Like my dad was like my number one supporter too. He was always like, "Let's go, Cooper!" Like he's on the sidelines. But yeah, that was like my thing. But honestly, one of my goals too would be to before I die, do a movie where I'm like either a swimmer or underwater, like something with swimming, because that's like I feel like it's still in my blood.
Tell me a little bit about the journey to success.
Hmm.
You're still young, but you're making moves and you're being successful.
Hmm.
What is it about your path that has inspired you to keep going and to keep trying all these new things?
Um, you know what? That's a good question. I think I'm just naturally a curious person. But also, just growing up, and I don't know if it's a Jamaican parent thing, but my dad has always like instilled in us to basically, you know, not give up and just to push through and also just because of not only you know where we come from or what we look like or whatnot, but just that sometimes you know like we might have to work harder just to you know make our place in the world, and that's always been instilled in me. So I feel like I don't um, ever expect handouts. I'm just very like you know hustling mentality. Like I got to work for it and just keep grinding, and also too I feel like remembering what I'm doing it for and the purpose behind it all. And that's kind of like what keeps me going and propels me forward. And yeah, because I feel like there's so many ways of my purpose is like to help people and like do good in the world. There's so many different ways I could do that. Not only with, you know, filmmaking and stuff, but there's so many different avenues. So I'm just gonna like figuring it all out and going with the flow.
What is the biggest challenge that you think you face on a regular basis?
On a regular basis. Ooh, I think making more time for myself
Mhm.
is something that I struggle with that I'm working on. Um, And also, even with the acting, I've actually never taken acting classes. So that's something that I also want to do is this year is one of my goals is to like take an acting class and just keep growing. Cause even like, Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, like they all, still train and they're like, amazing, like legends. So I just want to, keep at it and keep growing and learning. And even with Lance on set, like I learned so much from being with him, top notch uh just so many great cast members, so I'm just grateful to be there. TJ, just yeah, it's a list of everyone, so just continuing to learn and grow, and that's like my main thing.
Okay. What's next for you? What's next? What are the projects you got going
um
on? What's next?
yes, so I might be doing this horror movie soon, so I'm excited about that later this year. And then there might be some more things coming up with BT, so
Hmm.
we shall see. And then some stuff coming up with Disney, which I'll be able to disclose a little more later.
Okay.
And then there's a new movie that I'm in playing Lizette called Omaha, and they actually premiered at Sundance. And there'll be a release, I think a theater release, and then probably streaming or something later down the line. But I'm excited about that. So you guys will be able to see that soon. That movie has done really great at Sundance and had some really great actors. Um, yeah, some things coming up. Some things
Yeah.
coming up.
I'm still stunned that you have all this time to do all these things, and you say, I'm really a homebody. I don't really do much."
I know, because when I'm not working, I just want to sleep or lay down and relax and watch a show. So
Right.
I'm chill.
All right. So my last thing, I want you to leave us with some words of wisdom, some words
Okay.
of encouragement that
Mhm.
could inspire, inform, or impact someone out there that may be considering, either you're trying to do what you're doing in all the different
Mhm.
avenues, or just
Yeah.
doing something in general. It could be anything. But
Mhm.
sometimes people see your success or see successful people, and they say, "Man, I want to wake up tomorrow and I want to be that." They don't understand the journey. They don't understand the struggle. They don't understand any of that. So
Right.
that's what I want to leave the people who see this with some words of encouragement that will
Mhm.
encourage them, inspire them, inform them, and impact their
And
lives.
impact them. Yes. Well, first, and this might sound cliche, I feel like I say it all the time, but first, I would say believe in yourself. Like that's number one, because in this, especially in this industry, I feel like a lot of people, aren't gonna believe in you, or they might believe in you at first, give up on you, or just kind of like people kind of hop on the bandwagon. So I feel like once maybe like a certain amount of people follow you or support you, then everyone else wants to. So it's like you just have to believe in yourself no matter what. Don't give up, and just remember like what's your purpose behind it, like always keeping that in the back of your mind so that you know what's the end goal and don't get lost in the sauce in the middle of the process. And I feel like it'll also keep you grounded and humble, but the main thing is believing in yourself and surrounding yourself with people that believe in you and care about you and just speak positive into you, because I feel like, that can heavily influence you a lot and your mental health, which I think is also something important. But yeah, mainly believe in yourself and
Right.
a network. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's what I grew up on that saying. So just, speaking up. And yeah, just don't be afraid of failing. It's okay to fail. I failed plenty of times. I might fail a little more, but just pick yourself back up and just keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing. All right.
Keep it pushing.
Yeah. You say, and you keep talking. Your dad was a big influence in your life, clearly,
Yeah. Hmm.
huge influence, a huge
Yes.
driver for you. Because I heard you speak
Yes.
about him quite a bit.
Hmm.
So that's clearly important to you as well.
Yes, yes, yeah, very important. He actually, growing up, he was working at legal aid in Compton. So just seeing like how much he's helped the community, was very inspirational to me also. So I think that has a big impact on just the movement I'm trying to make and my purpose and my journey too. So just trying to, keep it going and do it the right way.
All right. Christina Cooper, actress,
Thank you.
TV producer, director, author, CEO, model, swimmer, and lover of the sun and all around hard worker. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank
taking
you so
the time
much.
to give me a moment of wisdom on this day. So thank you.
Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
grateful. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
She's a voice you know with a story you haven't heard. When we come back, an icon opens up about fame, family, and finding purpose beyond the spotlight. Stay with us. We'll be back in 30 seconds. She's a powerhouse vocalist, a Broadway star, and a new wine entrepreneur. From chart-topping ballads to center stage on Broadway, Deborah Cox has done it all, and she's not slowing down. In this exclusive sit-down, she opens up about her journey, her passions, and the legacy she's building. This is a story of talent, tenacity, and timeless inspiration. Nobody's supposed to be here. Sentimental, up and down, just some of the incredible music by this lovely and talented lady. This is Deborah Cox. She has given us so many great songs over decades and decades. Like, she's legendary. There is so much more to Deborah Cox, so she's going to talk about that because she's in here this morning. I appreciate you always coming in and hanging out.
Yes, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. And you also brought
I
one
brought
of your
a little
new ventures.
Yes,
What
my
is-
new venture.
what's
This
this?
is Kazaisu. It's
Okay.
a rosé and a white wine, organic wine that
Mm-hmm.
we launched just recently. It's my latest project. It was something that kind of was a passion for a long time. I
Right.
sang background for Celine Dion, and I traveled all through Provence, not even realizing that it was wine country, and just developed this little love and desire to want to create something of my own, a legacy brand. The name is it consists of my 3 children's names.
Oh, wow, okay.
Kayla, Isaiah, and Sumaya. And it's a beautifully light, dry tasting rosé. So you can celebrate and,
Right.
and drink something clean as well.
Right, there you go. And I
Yeah.
hope your kids appreciate that you gave
Oh.
them that, put the names on
They
there, right?
do, yeah,
Okay,
yes.
all right. All right. So look, let's talk about your music.
Mm-hmm.
I just named just a couple of your hits right there. You've been able to withstand the test of time with your hits and your music and your beautiful voice. What is it about music that drives you to keep going and to remain relevant?
I think for me, it's really finding inspiration in moments, finding inspiration through people's connection, the storytelling, and then things that are happening in my own life. I try to incorporate that in what I do. And I never lose sight of, the fans and the supporters who just want to continue to hear me sing live and in person, which is great because it allows me to continuously do live music, and, in a beautiful theater like the Bethesda Theater.
Right.
It's been a long time. I've been doing a lot of Broadway, I've been doing a lot of acting, so it's kind of kept me away from doing my own recorded music. So this is an opportunity to reconnect again.
How did you get started in singing? I'm always curious to know how people got started. Was it when you were a kid?
Oh,
were you
yeah.
in church?
Very
what
early.
happened?
Very early in my, I remember in elementary school, I knew that singing was something that I wanted to do. My voice was different than others. You know what I mean?
Different
And,
good or different
Different
just-
good.
Okay, all right, okay.
Different good. I just was very, very shy when it came to performing. So it took a long time to develop that muscle to be able to perform in front of people. But later on, through commercial jingles and working with local bands and then later songwriting, it helped me to kind of come out of my shell and explore, music as a career.
And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You've worked with some of the big ones too. Some of the big producers, Jam and Lewis, Jermaine Dupri, Dark
Yes,
Child.
yes.
What was that? What were those experiences like when you're on your level and then you're working with these big name people? as
Well, I mean, it's a dream come true. I grew up listening to all of those producers, and to be able to be in the studio and work with them one-on-one was amazing. But when I got into the studio with Shep Crawford and Montel Jordan, and I heard Nobody's Supposed to Be Here, that was like a song that I knew would change my life. I just knew off the bat that it was something very different and that would really stand the test of time. It's like, when you just know? Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like when you meet your partner, you meet your life partner. It was just like that for me. I knew that song was going to be life-changing.
So there was never any doubt. Never
any
with
doubt
that
in my
one.
mind.
Right.
The only I think thing was trying to figure out how to produce the vocal in a way that was going to really resonate, like figuring out like what takes to keep and what not to keep.
But you knew it was solid.
But I knew it was solid,
right,
yeah.
Right. Acting and Broadway. We're
Yes.
talking TV, Broadway.
Whew.
How did you end up going in that direction?
Well, I had done Broadway before my career. I'd done musical theater, and I never thought that I would revisit it once my recording career took off. I was just on tour. I was, in the studio, and so I never revisited it until I got offered to do Aida on Broadway, and then Jekyll and Hyde, and then The Bodyguard, and a lot of these shows I had to tour with. And then most recently, playing Glinda in The Wiz, I was thrilled about bringing a new Glinda to the world of The Wiz. So it was thrilling. It's a lot of hard work. Broadway is no joke.
Right.
It's a real discipline, but it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it.
More discipline, more hard work than actual singing and performing
Yes.
on the road?
Because it's 8 shows a week.
Right, okay.
And you got to be like, you have to consistently perform at a very high level. And there's very high expectations. The Wiz is The Wiz, so
It's
you got to
huge.
bring it. Yeah.
Right. And what about television?
Television, I think, is easier. I think television is easier. It's a lot of long hours waiting. But once you get an opportunity to do your scene, you're in it, you do it, and you're done.
First Wives, that's First Wives Club
Yes.
and Influence. Too.
Yes.
I love both of those, by the way.
Thank you.
So that was a pleasant experience for
Yes.
you and something that you enjoyed and clearly something you like doing because you're working on more projects.
Yes, I have this Sidelined, the QB and Me, which will be out on Tubi at the end of this month. I play a dance teacher who is guiding Sienna's character, as she tries to find a college to go to. So it's like it's a really charming romantic comedy.
Right.
And I get to play someone who is somewhat of a mentor and a mother and dance teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like when you were in Influence, where you were
Yeah.
not the best.
Not like Savannah in Influence at all. This is a whole different character.
Yeah, that's a whole different character. All right, so you're from Toronto.
Yes.
And you were inducted into the Toronto Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Canadian Music Hall of
Canadian-
Fame, which was
yes.
just
And you're the
surreal.
first Black woman.
The first Black woman, which is a huge honor to know that I came from a place that really was very, very tough coming up. There was no infrastructure for soul music, for Black music when I was coming up in the early 90s. So to be recognized for my music, for my philanthropic work, just and to still be here doing what I love to do, and it's still resonating with people and with audiences and really creating inspiration for a whole new generation has been really a blessing.
How did you overcome that? Since there was no infrastructure there, how did you work that out?
I traveled a lot. Traveled to wherever there was an ear to hear music.
Right.
And it was a meeting in LA. Clive Davis heard the demo tape that my husband and I produced, and the rest is history.
Right,
He
right.
took us under his wing and created a real foundation and a platform for me to do my own music and create my own style and my own vibe, and to be here, 2 #1 records. I've had a really, really rich journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Your kids, they're older now, but have they always known that mom was famous? And how
They
did they
always
respond to that?
They love the perks, because like we said, there's perks when you're on television.
Right,
and people
right.
recognize you, and you get all the things. But I really keep them grounded. You know what I mean? I came up poor. I came up with nothing. I remember being hungry all the time. I remember having to always just kind of hustle for the next gig. So they understand the struggle. Both my husband and I try to keep them very, very grounded in the sense that, you earn respect, you earn, you stay in gratitude, and thankfully, they're really, they have that as their foundation, and they've kept that very close to home.
A lot of people will see you, or they see famous people, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so easy. She didn't have to go through
We
anything.
make it look easy.
We make it look easy," and people are like, "Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
want to do that." And
Right.
what are some words of encouragement, if you will, or some inspirational words that that you could give to someone who's out there who may be thinking about doing anything? It doesn't have to be music, doesn't have to be television, but anything that may be a bit of a challenge, because now we know your background. It wasn't always smooth sailing.
Right.
They just see the finished product.
They see the finished product. And it was by constantly going, never giving up, staying inspired, finding things to inspire you, to keep the level of interest and curiosity alive. You know, I know for me that's what worked. That's what I've always. I stay curious about different things, not just music, but you know, wine and I always stay in gratitude.
Right.
When I stay in gratitude, then it just keeps me completely grounded. I'm so thankful for every step that I've taken and all the wonderful people that I've met along the way. And I think if you do that, you'll be good.
Right. I'm going to end with this because these, again, are my favorites.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna say the name of the song. You just tell me
okay.
whatever you think, whatever comes
Yes.
to mind. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Obviously, nobody's supposed to be here.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
What comes to mind when you hear the title of that song, or when you hear the song?
When I hear the song, I think about the fact that every single time I hear that no, 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 everyone wants to hear that no.
Oh yeah.
No, they want to hear that consistently.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
We Can't Be Friends.
Oh, We Can't Be Friends. I think about the session with RL in the studio. We had such a great time recording that song. It blew both of our minds that it was a #1 record on R&B charts with all the other songs and all the other hits that were on the radio at the time. Yeah, good memories.
Okay. Sentimental, which
Ooh,
that's one of my favorites.
Yes,
that's
mine
when
too.
you started dancing.
Well, Sentimental, I wanted to infuse a little jazz and hip hop, and working with Dallas Austin in the studio. It was recorded in Atlanta. Some really great memories of, you know, the business back then. Just like fun.
Right.
Having fun in the studio.
Who do you love?
Who do you love? I think about all of Janet's dancers. I think of the vision that I had for that video, working with Brett Ratner and Tina Landon. I have been such a huge fan of all of her work with Janet Jackson. So it was a dream come true to have the kids in the video and do all the dance moves. And I ain't doing the dance moves right now. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, no more. There's no more of that.
And I ain't doing it at the Bethesda Theater either. You'll hear the song though.
Right, but no more dancing.
But no more dancing.
No more dancing.
No.
All right. Up and down.
Up and down. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We were in the studio in Minneapolis. We created that song. Good memories of just being able to like express myself and write with legends. Yes.
And last but not least, It's Over Now.
It's Over Now. I didn't like the song when I first
You
heard it. I
didn't?
did not.
Why?
I just didn't like it. It grew on me over time.
Really?
I know people, it hurts people to hear me say that, but it
Yes.
was not one of my favorites. It was not.
Wow. Okay. All
But
right.
after a while, I got
Right.
into it, and you will hear that song.
What else can they expect to see when they come see you at any of your shows?
Oh my goodness. I do break out of character every now and then and sing songs that just kind of come to mind. I love spontaneity. So I'm kind of like a DJ in that sense. I just kind of sing what comes to me and then the band follows. So
Right.
there'll be a lot of real spontaneous moments musically of songs and music that touch my heart and soul in that very moment. So you'll be able to just share with me in that moment.
right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your time.
Thank you.
And all that
good to
inspiration.
see you as
Always
well.
good to see you. Always good to see you. The one and only Deborah
Thank
Cox.
you. Have fun in Toronto.
Oh yeah, I'm going this summer.
Yes.
I can't wait. What should I do when I get there?
Go to the CN Tower.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, done. Well, I hope our conversations left you with more than great stories, maybe even a little wisdom to carry with you. Until next time, I'm Wisdom Martin, and you can catch me on Get Up DC weekday mornings starting at 4:30. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep chasing what moves you.
There's a better choice to keep your business connected. All while saving over 30% versus big cable. Switch to our Better Choice bundle and get business-ready internet and voice solutions for